We're featuring the Echo One GAT Gun on today's episode of AirsoftReviewerHD. This review is made possible by Airsplat.com. Go to Airsplat.com for more guns, gear, and accessories for your airsoft loadout. So the Echo One GAT Gun costs about $160 depending on where you get it from. And as you see from the start, this is a very compact and small packaged gun, meaning it's going to be great for CQB and close quarters combat, especially for maneuvering around corners and just having a fast package when you're playing airsoft. So it's a very good small weapon for sure. When you pick up the gun, you instantly have a solid feel when you hold it. It's not a cheap type of gun, and even though for $160 you're not going to expect a ton, I have to say that I'm very impressed. The lower body is made of a high quality, durable polymer. It does not feel cheap at all. And then the upper receiver is made of metal. So for the size of the gun, it has a very solid weight to it. I think it's around 3.5 pounds or so. So for the size, it definitely has a nice weight, and when you pick it up, you feel it right away. So I do like the externals on the gun, and just the build quality overall definitely has a good impact on me. The gun has two iron sights, a rear iron sight and a front. They both have removable screws where you could take it off. If you do take it off, there is no rail on the top to mount any optics, unfortunately, which would be really cool as it comes, So unfortunately, when you get out of the box, you're not going to be able to add any optics to it. So the iron sights is what you're going to use right away, and they're not really that great. I would say just to aim and fire when you see your enemy. Obviously, like I said, being for close quarters, you're not really going to need the sights anyway, but if you do end up using them, they'll hold up for what you need them. The selector switch on the gun is on the left side. It goes from safe to full auto to semi. There's an A near the full auto and a 1 near the semi to indicate which firing it's on. It's a very solid click to it, and even though it's a very small part of the gun, it just shows that the details that were put into this gun, really do show. So I do like the selector switch on this gun. When you get your Echo One GAT Gun, you're going to get two high-capacity magazines that hold 250 rounds. The magazine is mostly metal. You load it in the back door, you pour your BBs inside, and it's just like your typical high cap. Once you get all the BBs inside, you simply wind it up at the bottom, and you're ready to fire. The hop-up unit is on the right side of the gun. You can pull back the bolt, lock it in one of the places, and inside reveals your hop-up. You can adjust it. However, I didn't have to adjust it. I just left it alone right out of the box. So you might have to do the same, or you may have to adjust it depending on what you do. I like the gun's hop-up unit, very accessible. When you shut the bolt cover is made of a cheaper material, so I'm not sure if that'll end up breaking or not. But either way, it shouldn't affect the performance of the gun, so that really isn't a very big con to the gun itself. On the left side of the gun, there are sling mounts that appear to be welded onto the gun. They have more space to it, so when you're running, it's not like locked in one spot. It kind of moves around a little bit, and it could slide. And they're very solid, obviously, and personally, I will use these if I am using this as a secondary weapon. Putting the battery in the Echo One GAT Gun can be pretty difficult and takes some patience, but once you get used to it, it'll be fine. The battery is placed inside the plastic foregrip, and you take the screw that comes with the gun and place it in one of the holes, and make sure the wire is underneath the screw so it does not get crunched. After you get the wires placed, you place one half of the foregrip onto the rail system. Make sure it's connected to the rail system and so it doesn't fall off when you try to attach the other piece. Get your connector set up and place the other foregrip on top of the foregrip already placed on the rails and tighten it up, and it'll be secure and fitting. Personally, I do like using the foregrip with the gun just because it's a little bit easier to hold, and then once you connect your connectors, you're ready to play. So overall, this gun is definitely a very solid and really good gun for the price. so far. So let's go head out to the range and use .25 Elite Force Gram BBs at both 30 feet and 70 feet to test this gun's performance at both ranges. The groupings at 30 feet, I'd have to say, were pretty good overall. This is really a perfect gun for CQB and close quarter situations especially. So let's move on to 70 feet now and test the gun's longer range accuracy. The groupings at 70 feet were much worse than the 30 feet grouping, so when you are using this gun, try to keep the distance pretty close. So overall, the Echo 1 GAT gun impressed me a lot. The shooting of it, the entire gun itself, the externals and all that, it truly impressed me. The only two things I'd have to say is one being the battery installment was a little bit annoying at times, and then two being that there's no RAS rail on top to add optics because the iron sights aren't that good like I mentioned. But other than that, honestly, the gun is incredible and I do really love this gun. Definitely recommend using it for CQB. You could probably use it for field use as well, but it might be a little difficult to get some hits on there. Once again, thank you to airsplat.com for supplying the gun, and this review would not be made possible without them, so go to airsplat.com to pick up this gun and many others for your airsoft loadout. Thanks for watching another episode of Airsoft Reviewer HD. Hope you enjoyed the review. I'll see you next time.